Hello everyone, this is Doe welcoming you back to another Sword of Convallaria video. Before we dive into the breakdown and deeper speculation of The Witcher 3 collaboration units and their skill sets, I'd like to give a huge shout out to XD for sponsoring this video. Make sure to download the game using the link in the description below so you can get yourself prepped and ready for The Witcher 3 collab dropping on the 28th of November. Alright, with that out of the way, let's jump straight into the revealed kits and explore just how powerful these Witcher characters might become once they step into the world of Sword of Convallaria. First up, we have Ciri, our free collaboration unit, and she comes in as a seeker belonging to the Dimension Traveler and Alacrity factions. And honestly, she's exactly what many of us predicted. A lightning-fast assassin archetype with a kit built entirely around speed, mobility, and explosive damage windows. Her trait immediately boosts both her speed and physical attack, setting the tone for a hyper-aggressive playstyle. And of course, she wouldn't be Ciri without her signature movement. She can blink to a nearby location, act again, recover energy, and reduce cooldowns. Blink does appear to come with a cooldown itself, but even then, this is a massive amount of action economy baked into her core identity. Her unique ascension goes even further by amping up her crit damage right after she blinks, reinforcing that hit-and-run assassin fantasy. Her charge skill lets her stagger enemies on impact, and even her basic attack can stagger, which gives her a surprising amount of crowd control layering on top of her mobility. Her ultimate fires off damage to random enemies within a pretty generous radius, and the fewer the enemies in range, the higher the damage. So she's basically a dual threat. Strong single target burst in boss or elite fights, and wide AoE chip damage when clearing mobs. She also has a passive that's extremely interesting for team building. She guarantees critical hits on enemies afflicted by Bound, which opens up synergy with any character that can apply that condition, or lets her serve as her own high ceiling finisher once Bound is present. Her reaction skill is where a lot of her survivability and consistency comes from. She builds stacks of damage lock and heals herself whenever she charges, teleports, or takes damage, which really leans into the Witcher fantasy of her dancing around the battlefield, slipping between blows and striking at the perfect angle. If you want a reference point from Sword of Convallaria's existing roster, her design looks like an upgraded SP Rowea, but faster, slipperier, and more explosive. And if that's accurate, her 5-star breakpoint might completely redefine her ceiling. SP Rowea's entire identity changed once she hit 5 stars, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ciri's 5-star heavily impacts how often she can blink and act again. Honestly, I'm personally hoping she gets act again every round at 5 stars, and the best part? Since we all get her at 3 stars for free, shard farming will be a whole month faster right from day one. If this holds true, Ciri might end up being one of the strongest free collaboration units we've ever received. Next up, we have Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf himself, entering Sword of Convallaria as a watcher from the Dimension Traveler and Fortitude factions. And because he's one of the symbolic faces of the Witcher series and a flagship unit for this collaboration, I strongly suspect he'll debut with something special, potentially even the first leader aura for the Dimension Traveler faction. If that's the case, it'll likely boost DT allies' stats, damage dealt, and especially their damage against bound enemies, which every Witcher character seems to interact with in some way. It's a clean thematic synergy that ties the entire collab cast together. Geralt's trait is already incredibly versatile. It equalizes his magic attack and physical attack, meaning every attack he makes, whether it's sword-based or sign-based, will scale cleanly. He also gains additional crit rate and movement, and starts every battle with a Quench shield that absorbs damage and knocks enemies back when it breaks. And because Quen is such a protective sign in the Witcher universe, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a reaction skill that extends some form of shielding or mitigation to his DT teammates. That would align perfectly with Geralt's signature role as the protector of his companions. One thing that stands out immediately from his previewed animations, Geralt looks to be primarily a physical AoE DPS with extremely wide AoE coverage. Many of his sword strikes and sign attacks hit multiple enemies across large areas, making him the kind of bruiser who excels not only in duels, but in clearing waves of enemies with overwhelming reach. His identity seems built around broad cleaves, explosive signs, and instant attacks that keep his damage flowing. And because Witchers are famously resource efficient, I wouldn't be shocked if he has some sort of energy reduction mechanic to support that constant stream of AoE pressure, allowing him to spam his skills and signs reliably without stalling his rotation. His signs appear to be just as functional as in the Witcher games. Igni likely serves as a powerful AoE burn or burst tool. Art could be displacement, stagger, or a wide knockback. Yrden seems poised to weaken defense and mobility, softening enemies for his massive area attacks. Layer that on top of his potions and immediate strike tools, and he's shaping up to be an incredibly well-rounded AoE bruiser who delivers consistent pressure while staying surprisingly durable. His unique ascension teases a mechanic called Battle Frenzy, and the fact that it was displayed right next to his finisher Rend is very telling. I suspect that Rend's damage or hit count might scale with his Battle Frenzy stacks, allowing him to escalate his output the longer a fight drags on. If that's true, then Geralt becomes a monster in extended fights, scaling upward as he maintains pressure with his massive area attacks. All in all, Geralt is looking like a high-range physical AoE DPS bruiser with versatility, sustain, and team synergy baked straight into his kit. And then we have Triss Marigold of Maribor, coming in as a breaker from the Dimension Traveler and Aggression factions. From the trailer alone, we can already tell she's going to be a hybrid elemental caster, wielding both ice and fire magic with a level of fluidity that fits perfectly with her Witcher 3 identity. Her trait gives her immunity to burning and frosty tiles. Now, it's still unclear whether this immunity applies only to herself or if it extends to the entire team, similar to how Luvata's terrain immunity works. If it does function like Luvata's, then she immediately becomes a major terrain enabler, allowing your entire team to traverse the fields of fire and frost she creates without penalty. On top of that, her trait also gives her both magical and physical shields whenever she performs standby on these elemental tiles, reinforcing her identity as a durable caster who manipulates the battlefield to her advantage. Her trait also pushes players to mix fire and ice because doing so triggers Rhythm of Frostfire, an effect that enhances her magical AoE damage. But while this might create some skill slot pressure, since she needs both fire and ice tools equipped, the synergy across the entire Witcher roster is so strong that the trade-off will likely be worth it. Rhythm of Frostfire seems to naturally complement how Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer interact with damage modifiers, bound effects, and elemental combos, letting you mix and match according to whatever the fight demands. Her unique ascension, the Fearless, amps this up even further by increasing the damage modifiers of Rhythm of Frostfire, meaning her fire-ice combos scale even more explosively at higher star levels. She also has a teleport skill that restores energy and generates both shield types immediately, which gives her a lot of agency in positioning and survivability. Her passive, Resolve, creates dual shields as well, likely when she survives a potentially fatal hit. This aligns with the idea that Triss isn't a fragile mage. She's a self-sustaining caster who thrives on controlling the fight through terrain, elemental pressure, and smart positioning. Since she has so many shield mechanics built into her kit, I strongly predict she'll gain bonus damage while her shields are active. This would make perfect sense for her identity as a terrain-based DPS. The safer she is, the more punishment she can output. They might even adjust the immediacy of Hailstorm's follow-up attack, allowing her to burst sooner or double the potency of Firestorm, since fire is canonically her primary element in the Witcher lore. Her fire-aligned skills are looking like an upgraded Luvata, and because she operates in both fire and ice channels, we might see new chain reactions, ignition interactions, and more stacked elemental mechanics that reflect the sheer chaos of her spellcasting in the Witcher universe. If that's the case, Triss could end up being one of the strongest and most versatile elemental breakers we've ever seen. High damage, terrain control, self-shields, and massive synergy with the rest of the Witcher units. And finally we have Yennefer of Vengerberg, joining Sword of Convallaria as a destroyer from the Dimension Traveler and Discipline factions. Her trait immediately boosts her magic attack and unlocks Magic Burst, which further amplifies her magic power and grants magic empowerment, a state that transforms several of her skills and lets her cast them for free, with no energy cost or cooldown. I do suspect magic empowerment will have strict limits. Since Yen has always been a burst and burnout style mage in the Witcher lore, she'll likely need rotations between empowered states, with her star levels smoothing out that cycle. She has a teleport skill that works on both allies and enemies. On allies, it teleports them and buffs their speed and damage. On enemies, it teleports them forcefully, deals AoE damage, and inflicts vulnerable. And I'm guessing this will be vulnerable 3 at minimum, given vulnerable 2 is so yesteryear. Because she has mind control magic in the Witcher series, I wouldn't be surprised to see something resembling Axii, like an AoE vulnerable or a short control effect. In her preview, we also saw Embrace of Shadows, where she simultaneously attacks enemies, heals and buffs allies, and even grants immunity to fire and ice tiles. This makes her a perfect support DPS hybrid who thrives in the terrain chaos created by Triss, Ciri, and Geralt. Her decision skill lets her choose lightning, fire, or ice, which can combine into a powerful elemental storm, a large AoE burst that also applies vulnerable. With how wide her range looks, she's shaping up to be a very high ceiling mage, and because she's a destroyer, I expect she'll have some of the highest raw stats among the collab units, with plenty of damage modifiers built directly into her trait and ascension, similar to how Marseille was designed. Overall, Yennefer is looking like a top tier burst mage with huge AoE, strong buffs, utility, and flexibility. She can reposition allies, debuff enemies, stabilize terrain setups, and still delete entire clusters of units when Magic Burst comes online. Before I go any further, I also want to point out something important. All Witcher units will likely have the Drifter faction, since every previous collab unit in Sword of Convallaria has included it. So expect DT/Drifter to be a consistent pattern across the entire cast. Now, all 4 Witcher characters will also receive Astral Imprints, and I'm guessing these will directly amplify their strengths or smooth out their pain points, whether that's Ciri's Blink rotation, Geralt's Battle Frenzy scaling, Triss's shield uptime, or Yennefer's Magic Burst cycle. For spenders, I strongly recommend saving your Astral gems for the packs previewed in the live stream. The Otherworld Journey is even listed as refundable at level 50, which is exactly how the Cornucopia Pass works, so this is a great value pickup. Some of the collab events will also give you Astral alloys, which you'll need to star up their signature weapons, so make sure to complete those event missions every day. As for how their banners work, it looks like the pity, based on the JP description, might tentatively be 100 pulls, with the first 10 pull of each banner discounted by 50%. The live stream also confirmed that you can only off-banner other collab units, meaning it should be much easier than usual to collect all 4 Witcher characters. Their Astral imprint banner also drops on the 28th, and you can select one of the 4 collab imprints from it. Because of this, I personally believe that even though only Geralt's banner officially releases on the 28th, we will still be able to off-banner the other Witcher units on day 1. This is speculation, but it makes no sense for the devs to release their signature weapons and imprints without making the units themselves available in some form. Finally, their Astral imprint banner can only off-banner other Witcher collab imprints, which massively increases consistency if you're chasing dupes or specific imprints. Combine that with the extra Astral alloys from events, and this collab is shaping up to be extremely generous for players who want to build the whole team. And finally, players will also be able to purchase skins for Geralt, Yennefer, and Triss using Astral gems. So if you're a diehard Witcher fan and you want those premium looks, this might be the perfect time to top up. Let me know in the comments who you're most excited for and what part of this collab you're looking forward to the most. This is shaping up to be the biggest collaboration Sword of Convallaria has ever had, lasting almost 2 full months, packed with great deals for spenders and generous rewards for free-to-play players. I'll leave you all today with the skin trailer. Stay cool, stay crispy. This is Doe. See you in the next video.
These scars long have yearned for your tender caress, to bind our fortunes. Damn what the stars own. Rend my heart open, then your love profess. A winding, weaving fate to which we both atone. You flee, my dream come the morning. Your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet. To dream, raven locks and twisted, stormy, of violet eyes, glistening as you weep. The wolf I will follow into the storm, to find your heart, its passion displaced by our ever-growing, hardening into stone. Amidst the cold, to hold you in a heated embrace.